Kingdom. Welcome back to All Chiefed Up. We're back with another podcast for that ass of the day. The Chiefs got absolutely monkey stomped right there in the snow in front of Jesus, in front of everybody. Steve, we looked freaking horrible, bro.
That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing for everybody. I'm embarrassed. I said the Chiefs could blow them out yesterday.
I'm embarrassed that I sit on my couch and watched the game. I'm embarrassed at myself that I sat through that.
Why did we keep watching it?
Dude,
why do we subject ourselves to that stuff? What are we even doing, man? But hey, thanks for joining us. Let's cope together because that was outright BS. Terrible game.
Terrible.
A lot of questions to be answered. A lot of stuff to talk about. First, hit that like button real quick if you can. Just take a second. Also, if you haven't subbed yet, hit that subscribe button. Mike, let's start with a few positives, like the very few you can pick from that garbage.
How many can you get?
Okay, there's nothing positive to say. But there were a couple of guys that had good games, just a few. So let's point them out first. That way, before we get to the real deal,
okay,
let's talk about them. George Karlaftis went off today.
George Karlaftis had a good day.
He had an absolute monster of a day. Mike Dana played well. Charles Omenihu played well, and Justin Reed on the defensive side of the ball. They all had pretty good games.
I thought Chanel and Tranquil did pretty decent too.
Yeah, Leo.
I think most of our defense did pretty well. I mean, I know they give up a few points in the first half.
When you live on the football field because your offense sucks so damn bad, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, look, right off the rip, the Chiefs are punting. They get a big return because of special teams. They played with short field. They really didn't give up all that much. They got stuck with a short field there when Hardman bobbles a kick there late in the game and screws up the whole thing. We'll talk about that in a minute.
I pray to Jesus they're making him walk back to Kansas City. Like, what an idiotic move that was.
That was one of the worst decisions
That's why he should have stayed in New York. That's why they didn't use him in New York.
Hey, look, here's what I'll say. The Chiefs defense, I don't think played as bad as it looked. This was another classic game of the Chiefs offense being so stagnant, so bad, and just downright ugly. Play calling to the receivers, to Mahomes even, just bad across the board, and it makes our defense look like they're worse than they are. This happened last year against Denver twice. It kind of has happened this year a few times. Our offense has just not gotten it together. We thought they got back last week, and my God, they look freaking horrible. Patrick Theraflu Mahomes out there should have set his ass just in the locker room. He should have stayed in the locker room.
Blaine Gabbert could have played a better game today.
Blaine Gabbert would have had a much better day than what this guy had.
100%. But, I mean, that doesn't mean they would have won. So let's just talk about a few things. First of all, there's a lot of things that went wrong, right? And I have a big list of them. But the main thing is, man, this team was completely undisciplined. How many times did they have 12 men on the field? How many times did they look lost? Like, it was terrible. It was almost embarrassing, right?
The coaching across the board,
the play calling
bad.
Was terrible, especially on 3rd and short, 4th and short. Terrible play calling.
Red zone. Why can't we go vertical?
Some of these guys put in piss poor efforts. They didn't look like they wanted to be there. So there's that. So I think, like, ultimately, we'll talk about all the things. We'll break it all down. But I think ultimately this falls on the shoulders of Andy Reid. Get your house in order, Reid, because it's a mess right now. Like, that team looked awful. Well, I'll say the defense was solid. They weren't good, but they were solid.
This was another
terrible in the rest of it
that we've seen over the past few years where nobody comes ready to play. Nobody's fired up. We play down to our opponent. Everybody's Super Bowls to beat the Chiefs. These guys haven't beat us in 16 straight games. You don't think they were fired up to come out and beat us? And we looked horrible. Steve, it wasn't even, 5, 6, 7 plays in? I looked at you and I said, this is one of those games where the Chiefs did not want to show up, and we are going to get murdered today.
The game plan was trash. The team wasn't ready. They didn't look like they were ready. They didn't look like they wanted to be there. Yeah, all the same symptoms, kind of like the Colts game last year and some other games that we've talked about before. But
jeez,
let's start picking it apart just real quick. It won't take long. I mean, there's lots of things we could talk about. Let's just the obvious ones. We already pointed out Mecole Hardman trying to field that punt. Like the little bit glimmer of hope that you had to come back and win this game, he threw in the trash by trying to field that punt. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Wasn't the score like 17-9 right then?
Yes, something like that.
The Chiefs could have actually got the ball, maybe got the ball down the field, but instead our defense was out there the entirety of the third quarter. Denver put together a perfectly executed game because they committed to the run game. And that's what you got to do to beat Mahomes. When Mahomes
Right.
was not
Keep him
playing
off
his
the
best
field.
game, by the way. He sucked.
They might
He
have blown
stunk.
them out if they would have got the offense on the field more.
Right. But instead, they went with 27 carries for Javonte Williams, 4 carries for McLaughlin, 1 for Samaje Perine. So they had a total of 32 carries. The Chiefs, on the other hand, Pacheco runs the ball 8 times, Clyde gets 1, and McKinnon gets 2 for -2. And then, of course, they had to be cute and let Mecole Hardman get a carry and Kadarius Toney get a carry, where he absolutely got completely ear-holed.
Stupid.
Yeah, by our offensive line not blocking. By the way, offensive line was trash across the board today. Dude, they could have called Creed Humphrey for 15 hold calls. Joe Tooney was holding. Everybody stunk. This was a total
when Mahomes wants to hold on to the ball for 30 seconds.
Total team piss poor effort.
Yeah,
no
a lot went into it. Okay, but let's go on to the next. L'Jarius Sneed got absolutely schooled by Cortland Sutton today.
1000%.
The only chance he had of keeping up with him was to hold him over and over and over again. It was terrible. The offense, of course, we talked about him being so bad it hurt the defense. That's exactly what happened there. They couldn't stay on the field long enough to give the defense a breather. But the play calling on 3rd and short and 4th and short, Mike, like once again, try to get too cute with everything. They tried that dumb shovel pass every time we get in the red zone. Rashee Rice, I don't want to say Rashee Rice had a bad day. He had some good plays, but he had a big drop, and he also missed a run block that got someone killed. And the shovel pass, it was just he got arm tackled. So it is what it is. But the receivers had drops. Sky Moore with the big drop on 4th and 2. Granted, why in the living hell was Mahomes throwing that ball on 4th and 2 to decide the game? Basically, like get the first down. Get the first down.
Can we just talk about the wide receivers for a second? The wide receivers flat out stunk.
And who's Kadarius Toney? Who's that guy?
I don't know. I don't even want to talk about Kadarius Toney. Why would we even talk about him? They don't even put him on the field. They don't use him. It doesn't matter. MVS gets paid $11 million a year to run wind sprints. When he does finally get a breakout game last week, and you think it's going to go somewhere this week, he has a big fumble. He stinks. He drops the ball. He gets a fumble. Yeah. Sky Moore, I'm tired of defending him. I'm tired of saying Sky Moore can do anything. Sky Moore has turned in, I don't want to say he's a complete bust, but Sky Moore downright stinks.
Right. Hey,
I'm tired of defending it. I'm tired of saying he's going to break out.
I always try to defend him a little bit. He stinks. Just get it
Today,
on with it.
He lets the ball go through his hand. I don't know why you take that shot on 4th and 2 and just not get the first down in that situation. You could have just used points on the board. I think there was like 8 minutes left. So why Mahomes throws that? I thought he didn't trust wide receivers. But
there was another
trust
third down
on 4th and the short to go deep.
Yeah, there was a 3rd and short. He did the same thing where he just threw a ridiculous pass.
I'm tired of raging. This is just what it is.
Well,
the wide receivers stink.
Well, it has to be,
That's all
right?
there is to it.
It has to be. It's one of two things. Either Mahomes stinks or the receivers stink. Because right now you're seeing Mahomes hold on to the ball for 30 seconds every play and refuses to throw it. So is it either Mahomes stinks or receivers stink? We know Mahomes don't stink. These receivers
Today he stunk.
Well, yeah, but I just mean as a whole. Like, obvious, the problem is receivers. Mike, we talked about it the entire offseason. We begged, we pleaded, we told everybody over and over again to please listen. We need a wide receiver.
We were told we were stupid. Stop doing D-hop coverage. You guys stink. We don't need nobody. Kadarius Toney, blah, 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 blah. I get so tired of hearing it, my man. But this is all we get. Gaslit to the end of time. And now that we need a receiver, you guys stick up for Sky Moore. You guys stick up for all these guys. Well, you guys were sticking up for him the entire offseason, by the way, when we wanted other people. And by the way, DeAndre Hopkins, so washed today that they put in a rookie quarterback that'll throw the ball out to him and he catches 3 touchdowns. Yeah, he's really washed up. Look, we need that receiver. And no, what were we told? Justin Ross is going to be able to do that. Justin Ross got 4 freaking plays and then beat somebody in their apartment. Like that's the accusation
allegedly.
Right now. Allegedly. But either way, he's allegedly probably not going to be on this team much longer.
Right.
And dude, it's just frustrating. It's frustrating because we are a Super Bowl team. We've got it all right there. We just had 1 or 2 small problems to deal with. We screwed up by not getting Chris Jones settled in time. That probably prevented us from getting the wide receiver. It pretty much caused the Detroit Lions loss. like basically by not having him on the field. By the way, Chris Jones, he was absent today. Everybody's like, "Where's Chris Jones?" I don't know, getting held somewhere like
He
he has
got
been for the
held
past 2
every
weeks.
play.
That's the
dude.
new game plan on Chris Jones. Hold Chris Jones until the officials call it. And let me tell you something, they're not going to call it. They're not going to call it. Spoiler alert, they're not calling it, which means Chris Jones for the rest of the season will be bear hugged into oblivion.
Right. So at this point with this receiving core, do you really think this team could win a Super Bowl?
With this receiving core right now, as we sit, no.
Exactly. There's a problem. There's a glaring problem.
It's either
obvious.
the receiving core, it's the play calling, it's Mahomes, it's somebody. I don't care who it is. It may be all three of it. But either way, until they figure it out.
Here's the way I'm looking at it. I'm doing it by process of elimination. We've seen this offense called before, and we've seen it work. We've seen Patrick Mahomes be the best quarterback to ever step on a football field. I have never seen this receiving core do anything good. Ever. So it seems like the obvious problem to me. And the big question is, Mike, is Brett Veach going to admit that he neglected it and was stubborn and just outright wrong about not adding to it and do something before Tuesday? Is he going to do it?
No.
So you're just saying, are they just going to hang it up? They're going to be like, you know what? We'll take a run at winning the Super Bowl again, but we're not going to do everything we can to win it.
They're going to do what they always do.
We're just going to roll the dice.
They're going to do what they always do. Andy's. I didn't even watch the after press conferences.
I'm not watching that.
I didn't want to be
Mahomes.
tainted.
I'm not listening to Andy.
Right. I didn't want to be tainted by, I got to do a better job. We got to do a better job. Yeah, we know you got to do a better job. The Broncos, a 2-win team Broncos that are an absolute dumpster fire, kicked the dog piss out of you today. And you guys think that the Dolphins ain't going to take us to the woodshed.
The Dolphins scored 70 on
the
that
Eagles
team,
coming into Arrowhead is going to come in there and beat our brains out.
Check this out.
This is a disaster what we're seeing right now. And I get it. People's going to say, let me finish first. People's going to say,
keep on going. Just
you guys are just raging. You guys are just doing this. It's too early. One loss, blah, blah, blah. Dude, if you looked at that game today and you want to keep making excuses, that's on you. It's on you. That team today looked flat out horrible. And to me, it was the effort and the coaching and everything else that made it look bad. And that's not good. That you can't recover from that.
Yeah. Well, either way, here's the thing about it. Reality, the Denver Broncos got 70 hung on them by the Dolphins, who we play next week. They managed to put up 70 points on the same defense. Keep in mind, we were playing them minus Kareem Jackson today, one of their safeties suspended.
And still walloped us.
Right. We put up a whole 9 points on them. Just complete world beaters against that defense today. 9 points. Patrick Mahomes managed to not throw for a single touchdown. We did not score a single touchdown. Think about that. Patrick Mahomes, 241 yards, 2 interceptions. Like Isaiah Pacheco rushed for 40 yards on 8 carries, averaging 5 yards a carry. But let's forget he exists every time it's 3rd and short, especially in 4-down territory.
Dude, they forgot Pacheco existed today in general. The dude had 8 carries. Dude, he had 40 yards on 8 carries, and they did not give him any. Mahomes is out here playing with the freaking flu, and he's got 38 pass attempts. 38 pass attempts, and you got Pacheco with one of the worst rushing defenses in the world, and he runs the ball 8 times for 40 yards. They don't feed him any more than that.
Right. Well, there's some other issues that are springing up, too. There's some other issues coming up too, Mike, that don't even really pertain to today's game. It does a little bit, but I mean, it's just going to keep getting worse. You missed Nick Bolton today. Drew Tranquil, he's good, but you still miss Nick Bolton when he's not on the field. You just do. Why do you think they were able to run the ball over and over and over and keep the ball on the field with 3-yard, 4-yard chunks? Nick Bolton's missed, but then you had Willie Gay go down with an injury today. What's that going to be? Like, at what point do we have a problem at linebacker?
You got a problem at linebacker.
Right. So, I mean, there's
got a problem. I don't know what to tell you.
A lot of things going on, man, and a lot of things to figure out literally in a day. They have 24 hours.
Hopefully
basically.
Drew Tranquil's fine. I don't know what Willie, they said lower back issue or something like that.
Tranquil had he went back in the game. Tranquil did.
Right. So, I mean, you still got Tranquil, Chanel. And to be honest, Jack Cochran played pretty well when given the chance today. He was, I think he had 2 tackles, 4 total. So, I mean, it wasn't horrible.
Is this the classic trap game because they were looking forward to the
I
Dolphins?
feel like that's what it was. But look, trap game or not, you're the defending Super Bowl champions. This is week, whatever it was, week 8.
Yeah, pathetic. It was pathetic.
This is the time when you get over it, you start kicking into gear, and the elite start separating themselves. That's not what we've seen today.
Not at all.
And look, y'all can say overreacting all you want. It's not overreacting.
Overreaction Monday.
Last week, we looked good. We played good, and I give them some positive outlook. And I said, look, this team's good when they're clicking, but we're bad when we're not. And from what I've seen, we are not clicking at a 90% rate this year so far.
Right.
We're clicking at a 10% rate.
So
which one do you want to bet your money on when it counts?
I just want to know what kind of excuses like the homers are going to use this week. Like the same people always have excuses like, oh, well, Andy Reid's saving all of his good plays for the playoffs, or they're practicing trick plays, or they're not showing their cards yet. And, like what's Nick Wright going to do? Is he going to talk about how the Chiefs were just practicing? Like, what kind of excuses you got for this? Because this was absolute dog crap, bro. Like, there's no way to polish this turd up. This was a bad performance, front to back, from the coaching staff down. Like, we can say it's a one-off game. We can be like, hey, you know what? They just had a bad week. Mahomes was sick, and they had a bad week. But the fact of the matter is, Mike, this is not the first time we've seen this team suck this bad. And that's scary that this can come up and pop up just at any time.
It happens all the time.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do when they do this in the playoffs? Are you going to say, hey, they just had a bad week. It's okay. We'll try again next year. That's not good. That's not good enough. Like, we got to do something, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm tired of talking about it. To be honest, they were just a turnover machine today. Let's just say Mahomes had the flu. Andy and them, were tired. Kelsey went to the Super Bowl. He was hungover a little bit. Everybody just had a good time.
You mean the World Series?
Yeah, the World Series, because we're not going to any Super Bowls. We keep playing like this unless he's watching Jason again. Other than that, I don't know. But it is what it is. It's a loss, big deal. The sun has to shine on a dog's ass every once in a while, and guess what? After 16 games, it's shone brightly on the ass of Denver, on the ass of the ass. So, cool story. Tired of focusing on it. Don't even care anymore.
Mike, the Eric Bieniemy people's coming back out.
You can't win. You can't win. You say we're good. We're not good. We need receivers. You say we need a receiver. No, we don't. You say that we're whatever. I'm overreacting. It is what it is. It's Gaslight Sunday night. Congratulations. That's what it is, and it's the way it always is.
The Eric Bieniemy people's coming back out from the shadows.
Of course they will.
We miss Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, Eric Bieniemy, the same guy that couldn't get nothing done today and stinks in Washington, and they'll probably all be fired by the end of the year because Washington sucks.
Yeah, because this was like we've seen this team before. Like I said, we've seen it last season with Eric Bieniemy several times. Well, we mentioned the Colts game. There was Denver. We played like crap against Denver, just squeaked the win out. The Texans game. The second half of the AFC Championship game 2 years ago against the Bengals. The Bengals last season. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's nothing new, but this team's got to figure out how to they've got to show up and play. They can't lay these eggs, man. You do it at the wrong time, and it's really going to screw up some things. But the fact of the matter is, I think there are some things that we could fix. In full transparency, I think they have to admit that they have problems. And they have to correct them, or at least make moves too. Because so far, what I've noticed this season is they refuse to admit, like, hey, we really should have got a receiver. You know what I mean? Like, they just won't do it. What do? They go and get Mecole Hardman back over here so he can muff up a punt.
Dude.
Like, what are we doing?
I don't know. I don't even care. Everybody wanted Mecole Hardman back, and then here he comes. I didn't think he would be this horrible, but to be honest, I've also said Mecole Hardman is not a wide receiver one. Yes, he can help a little bit, but no, he's not like going to be game changing. And I said that after you get a full week of practice, this is what you're going to get from Mecole Hardman. And where was he at today? Anybody got his stat line on the day? Mecole Hardman, he had 2 receptions for 13 yards on 2 targets. Congratulations. What a big, he's moved the needle. He's moved the needle. The offense is clicking now.
Okay, well, we got some of it out. Okay, you got some of it out. I mean, moving forward, man, you got the Dolphins this coming week. After that performance, you're playing a high-powered offense that we got to stop. A lot of things, right?
Are you really you're really looking to the Dolphins game right now after this?
I'm just saying, like, where do you start? Where do you start at?
You start by let's just do what Mahomes did and go to sleep. Let's just all take a nap today because that's what the Chiefs are already. They took their nap all day long. They've been napping good. I bet they're up all night partying.
So at this point, I feel like we wasted a third round pick on Kadarius Toney. I also feel like we wasted more draft picks when we went and got Mecole Hardman back.
Mecole
Like,
Hardman has now been a trade up in the second round. So you lost a pick, then you took the pick. We've also now give up maybe a fifth round comp, and we lose a sixth.
yeah.
Like, how many more picks are we going to give for this guy? Like, we've give up half of our picks for the last 4 years for this dude.
Yeah.
We don't have anything left to give.
Where do you start, man? Where do you start? Like, do you think
just
like
let me rage?
You've been raging, bro.
I want to rage. You want to know why? It feels good to rage. I hate those people. I hate those people that are such fair weather fans that can sit there and watch this crap and sit there and make excuses and be like, no, I'm superior. I'm a superior person because I believe it was just a bad game. I'm just going to go on about my life. It don't affect me. You know what? It does affect me. I like the freaking Chiefs. I love it. I live by them. I die by them. And today was a piss poor effort across the board, and it's irritating, man. This is the time of the year you're supposed to be getting together. This is the time of the year that you're supposed to have this stuff figured out. Just give the wide receivers time. Okay, how much more time do they need? Like, you've made a mistake somewhere along the line. Let's fix it. That's all I'm asking for, is to fix it.
Agreed. That's all I wanted to talk about before you went on another tangent. It was like, where do you start? Where do you start at? Like, to get back?
I don't know.
Like,
definitely
because
not a breakfast game versus the frickin' Dolphins in some foreign country. That's not what we want to do. Like, who wants to get up at the ass crack of dawn and watch that next week?
I was getting ready to say, man, as a diehard Chiefs fan, don't miss games. After this week, I have actually thought in my head, like, do I want to wake up early in the morning to watch the game next week? Like, is it worth it?
Thanks, Ulfric. You're the man. You know what? It does. You got to rage just a little bit. Get it out. Just get the rage out.
Hey, y'all get the rage out in the comments, too. Just start raging.
Just get the rage out. Why not? Because, look, tomorrow I'm going to sleep on it. I'm going to wake up, and I'm going to be back to normal. But I'm allowed to have a little bit of rage. Why? Because the Chiefs just took a crap right there on the field in front of the team I hate the worst, the Denver Broncos. Russell Wilson, they're all dancing around like Russ is something special. The dude had 3 touchdowns and didn't even hit 100 yards passing, man.
What did he have? 87 yards?
What a piss poor effort all the way across the board.
Well, now I'm confused. Hold on. So it says that their total yards.
He's got 114 yards passing.
Why does it say their passing yards is 87? Was that counting his rushing yards? Was that 114 total? Did he rush?
No, he took some sacks, so some of that's coming off.
Okay, yeah. You're right. There were 5 sacks today?
Yeah, 5 sacks. I called that. I said 5 sacks. But dude, what really kind of irritates me is the way Snead played. Snead played like crap, dude. What was his deal? Was his whole game plan today just let's see if we can just piggyback ride on Cortland Sutton and they're not going to call it?
I think there was the only thing he could do with him, to be quite honest. I think he was just beating him that bad.
Sutton really did push off. That first call, the officials got right. The officials 1,000% right. The second time, Snead was holding on that big sack that should have got him off the field, and they called that defensive holding on Snead. I think it was on their tight end or somebody. Snead was grabbing Jersey, and why did he have to do it? Russell Wilson couldn't even get the ball away. They got to him so quick. So Snead, look, it was just brain farts across the board, man. It really was. And, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say. There's nothing you can say. Everybody just got to look at themselves in the mirror tonight and be like, look, is this where we want to be when Jesus comes back? Because it's not. Get it together. Get it together. That's all I'm asking for. Just get it together, and let's come out and play better against the frickin' Dolphins.
Hey, I put up a poll before we got started. Was this Mahomes' worst game ever?
Good Lord. If it's not, I'd hate to see it.
72% say yes. Yes, it is. 28% say no. The 28% that said no, if you're still in here and you said no, please get in the comments and let us know what game you think was worse than today. Because I would argue that there's not one even close. Even the way he played in the second half of the Bengals games, at least he only did it for a half. Like, this was all day long. It was rough. And I know he was sick. I get that. But at the same time, it's like, if you're that sick, say you're too sick to play, and
Right,
let
that was
Blaine
kinda my
Gabbert throw the
point.
ball. I don't know.
Dude, like Mahomes, okay, look, you could tell he didn't look right. He looked gassed after every play. He literally, like we've all been sick. I've been sick over the past week. I've been out of my mind doing shorts and everything else under the sun. And by the way, nobody's let me forget that I've been sick all week. I mean, I'm sure they're going to tell me tonight you're still snuffed up.
Do you have
I
a
know.
cold? Do you have a sinus
Yeah,
infection?
I do.
Why does your
actually.
voice sound like that?
But I'm not going to go sit in the bed and be a wine bag. I'm still going to do everything I got to do because I'm an adult. Grow up. And let me tell you something. Mahomes should have actually just grown up today and been like, look, I'm sick, man. I don't want to go. Let's let Blaine Gabbert play. Forget it. Like, this team was supposed to be crap anyway. And to be honest, maybe Blaine Gabbert would have been something different. Maybe he would have took some chances here and there. Who knows? But Mahomes just didn't look right. So I don't know what the point of forcing him out there was.
Yeah, it was pretty weird, actually. The
You know
way
how,
he
like,
held
you're
onto
out
the
of your
ball
mind
today.
when you're sick?
Yeah,
What if
lethargic.
he'd have been out of his mind and lethargic and got hit really hard? You know, somebody runs him down. Like, it's an unnecessary thing.
Well,
Like,
I will tell you
need it.
this. I will tell you this. Kind of how Mahomes looked today. He's kind of done that all season long. It was just like the culmination of it. Like, it was the worst of the worst altogether. Like, he's had issues with getting the ball out. You know, throw the ball, man. Like, if they're not there, throw it away. If you can run it, run it. Like, what are we doing dancing around in the pocket for 25 seconds?
That's one of the most annoying things.
Yeah, and another thing is, Mike, and this is a big issue, I believe. I think this is a big issue. I think that he relies too much on Travis Kelce to a fault that he won't take his eyes off of him. He misses a lot of other things.
Well, okay. He don't trust his receivers.
Right.
Boy, he sure did trust Sky Moore on 4th and 2.
Yeah, that was
And he
strange.
actually put it in a good spot. And Sky Moore just can't even find the football. Just hits him right in the arm.
That was a tough one, like the over-the-head catch. I get it, but you still have to pull that down.
Rasheed Rice dropping that pass.
Right. I just don't understand the logic behind throwing that on 4th and 2 when you could have just got the first down and kept going and scored.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. To me, if it's look, they did that twice. They did it on like a 3rd and short, and he launches it out deep. It's like, why do you do that? Just get the freaking yard.
So you think about this, man. If they would have just decided to go with Blaine Gabbert today instead of Patrick Mahomes, and they had the exact same type of game today, you wouldn't feel as bad about it. But the fact that Mahomes was out there and they played this abysmal, that's pretty. That hit you in the gut there, man. That was bad. That was real bad. So you can't even blame it on Blaine Gabbert, man. Can't do it.
Blaine. Freaking Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert and all his beautiful, just his greatness. He couldn't even have saved that one, probably. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. You got to think about it. Denver stinks. But
they do.
I said it before the season. You remember when I said we're going to lose to Denver this year? This will be the year Denver breaks the streak.
Mike, I'm starting to think like you think you're right about things, but maybe I'm starting to think that you're just jinxing us.
No, I think it's because I see.
Why don't you guys let us know in the chat? Is Mike just really smart?
The chat, so don't even do it.
Is Mike just really smart, or is he jinxing us?
It's because I can see what's happening, and I don't get clouded up by BS.
I think so.
I said before the season started that this may be the year Denver gets us. Because why? It don't take a rocket scientist to figure out it's tough to beat an NFL team 17 straight freaking times.
Right.
Or the Jets game. Oh, I'm sorry. One of the best defensive, if not the best defenses in the NFL is going to be tough to beat.
Yeah.
With our offense and our wide receivers. Oh, I'm not Nostradamus.
Hey,
it's called just looking.
Look, man, everybody knows. They all say it's smarts, man. Mike's a genius, Doug says. Richie says he's right.
You know,
he's just right.
I'm liking Doug. I'm liking Richie here. I'm liking,
Jeremiah says both, baby.
I'm liking
a little bit of both.
I'm liking Jeremiah, except for I don't like the jinx part. Stupid Noah said I'm a prophet. Appreciate you, brother. Anybody that says anything different, you're out. Delete it.
You're out.
I'm joking.
You got to go.
Dude, it's not bad. It's I don't know.
Hey, y'all got any?
Want to be right? I wish I was wrong.
If y'all got any questions, throw them in the chat. We'll get to your questions here in just a second. That's what we'll do right after this quick little plug here. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Sub if you're not subscribed to the channel. We cover the Chiefs a lot. Also, if you're not on our Patreon, please go to patreon.com/allchiefedup. Become a member for $10 a month, and you get a lot of exclusive content over there. Also, there's just a chat If you got the app, open chat all the time. We can talk all the time. It don't have to be on live stream. So just, yeah, go over there, hang out. And that $10 a month goes towards helping us get through the next couple of months while YouTube's slap nutting around. So would appreciate that tremendously. Also, you can send donations by Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. And if you pay attention to the chat, Nightbot will let you know what those are. So appreciate you guys. And let's get to some questions, Mike. What do we got here?
Casey fan says, glad to see you guys. What happened to us today? We look like boo-boo. Casey fan, it was just it was just a clear-cut case of the Chiefs just wasn't ready. We wasn't ready to play across the board. I don't think the game plan was good. I think the guys were overlooking it. It felt like a trap game. I think when Mahomes got the flu, everybody decided that they were just going to take the day off too. I don't know. They felt like they were beat before they got on the field. Yeah, I had that vibe. It wasn't even halfway through the first quarter, dude. And I said they just
never had a good vibe. Today. Never had a good vibe from this game. I didn't. So, I can honestly say that.
Good. Let's get it out of their system. Let's just hope we get it out of their system. Anonymous says, how do you feel about playing the Dolphins next week? A week ago, I would have said I don't feel too bad about it. Today, I feel like I don't know if I want to. The Dolphins beat this team that just crushed us today by 70. What if they beat us by 90?
70-20 for real.
Right.
70-20.
And we couldn't even score a touchdown on them.
That's rough.
Steve, we couldn't score a touchdown on the team that the Dolphins put 70 on.
That is rough, bro.
Oh, my God.
I tell you how I feel about it. I don't think that it's an automatic, like, hey, we suck this bad, we're going to lose next week, because the Chiefs are that team that randomly will play good and bad. Yeah, and they play down to their opponent a lot. They play with their opponent. We noticed that. It's always close games. They never really want to blow people out.
You got to get smacked in the mouth a few times, too, I think.
Today damn well could be what we needed right now. Like a little eye opener. Like, hey, first of all, Brett Veach, your receivers suck ass, bro. Andy Reid, your receivers suck. Wide receiver coach, what's his name? Embry, fired. Get him out of here. What a terrible job. Terrible job he's doing.
You know how many routes wide receiver Embry ran in college as a wide receiver?
0. I don't even know why.
0. The dude was a running back.
Yeah, I don't get it, dude. That wide receiver room is an absolute dumpster fire, and he's the man in charge. Andy, hold your boy accountable. Get it fixed. Andy's got to get his house in order. Right now, people can blame the wide receiver coach. You can blame Matt Nagy. You can blame the players. You can blame this and that. You can blame Brett Veach for not getting a receiver. Andy, it's your house. If you want a damn receiver, you tell Brett Veach you need one. And guess what? He'd go get it. Like, if you don't want your offensive coordinator calling crappy play calls, do something about it. If you don't want your wide receiver coach to suck so bad, do something about it. Andy's got to buck up a little bit, sack up and get his house in order, bro. I think that's all that really needs to happen.
Hey, Brian Parrott says he prophesized this accurately.
Did you?
Brian's been on the real train all year, though. He's actually said that we've
called the Lions game.
We're not where we need to be, and a lot of the fans are a little bit, unicorn and rainbows too much.
Oh, there's a lot of those in Chiefs Kingdom, bro. Yeah. We know that.
For sure.
All right.
Stupid Noah says, can we all admit Veach isn't the genius people say he is? Oh, that's a tough...
I still think Brett Veach is
that's a wild statement.
I think Brett Veach is very smart. I think he's probably the best GM in football, but I do think he has flaws, and I think he makes mistakes. And I think not addressing the wide receiver problem in the offseason was a mistake.
Look.
Now, was it his fault? There was no money. Maybe it wasn't his fault.
Think about it. He's like, look, let me give you an example of Brett Veach. Brett Veach is like Mark McGuire. He's either going to hit a home run or he's going to strike out swinging. He's going to be slugging. So, look, he hits some home runs, but he's going to take some whiffs. And when he takes whiffs, boy, they come back and they look bad on him. And like I said, this wide receiver room, lots of talent, looked fine. But I think he whiffed big time by not going out and getting some veterans. And by the way, you still had Chiefs Kingdom. You had people talking heads like Nick Wright going out and being like, we don't need nobody. Right. We got Kadarius Toney. They're going to take away snaps from the young guys. They're not going to be able. No, and we were saying, no. How about you go get somebody and let them mentor these guys?
Yeah, Mike. We talked about a few guys actually. We talked about D-Hop a lot because that was the obvious one. We talked about Adam Thielen. I think Thielen on this team.
They said he was too old.
He would be a lot like a Justin Watson, just a guy out there doing his damn job and catching the ball when it's thrown.
People are
wanting
to trade for Thielen now. Surprise! When he was a free agent, we mentioned it.
There were a few guys we talked about. It didn't have to be D-Hop, but I mean that was just the one that was available. Now, like obviously, I do think that Andy Reid and Brett Veach wanted him. And it was, that it was said they were going after him the whole time. They talked to him a lot, even up until he signed with the Titans. But the fact of the matter is they wouldn't get anything done with Chris Jones. They drug their feet and they lost out. End of story.
Look, the fact that, and I'm going to say this too, and I know people's going to attack me. His knees. Juju Smith-Schuster in our offense last year, that was a big loss for us. That was a big loss. Patrick Mahomes liked Juju. Juju done all the things. Me and Steve wanted Juju. Juju gets paid $11 million a year, and boy, we'll pay MVS to do that. But giving it to Juju was the end of the world.
Yeah, I see people in the comments. Brett Veach does not stink like that. If anyone says Brett Veach stinks, they're crazy. I mean, you're not going to construct a team to get to 3 of 4 Super Bowls and win 2 of them and stink. But like Mike said, it's a home run or it's a strikeout, man.
Right. Yeah. Tony says, bro, I turned the game off after the second interception. I totally understand needing to rage. I had to turn it off before I lost the TV.
Yeah, good call, bro.
I hear you, man. It was bad to watch. Like, it was so bad, dude.
Do you guys know? Listen to this. I got a free like a bonus bet on one of the betting things. I was on the app and I used it on a parlay. It was a 7-leg parlay. And all I did was pick people to beat the spread. I went through and I picked who was. Do you know the Chiefs single-handedly cost me winning $3,400 today because they couldn't beat the Broncos. They couldn't beat the Broncos. Everyone else I picked, they all beat the spread. And the Chiefs, they literally pulled their pants down, took a big dump, and laughed at me and ran off the field, bro.
Look, James Kirk. How's the Star Trek Enterprise doing, James? Let us know. Will they make a trade, damn it?
I don't think they're going to, but God bless, they need to do something about this receiver room.
They need something, but look, we've already discussed all the options. Honestly, personally, I think Hollywood Brown's your best option. Look, we were talking about that with Steve today. I said, look, you can tell it's not that Tyreek Hill's the greatest wide receiver to ever play this game. By far. But Tyreek Hill is what this offense needs. Mahomes is at his best when he's not holding the ball and looking like a fool, when he's getting rid of the ball. And look, Tyreek Hill is that kind of speedy receiver that runs this offense and can get open fast. That's what
look at needs. Miami. Just throw him the ball really fast.
Right.
And let him work.
That's what works. These receivers cannot get open fast enough, and Mahomes is holding the ball way too long. Look, this is how Tom Brady made his entire career. He didn't have the greatest wide receivers, but he always had a Wes Welker. He always had a Julian Edelman, some little guy that he would pepper 15 to 20 times a game because they would beat their guy off the line within 2 seconds, and boom, he's taking quick hitters. That's what we can do. And then Tyreek had enough that if you kept biting on those, he's going to beat you long. And we just don't have that. We need something like that. And that's why the big wide receivers that we always want do not work well here, I don't think, because to be honest, I don't think the tackles have been much of an upgrade this year. Y'all can hammer me with that in the comments too, but I do not think that it's been that drastic of an upgrade with Donovan Smith
it hasn't
and
been.
Taylor.
Like, he's had a little bit more time in the pocket, but he don't need it. He needs to freaking throw the ball and get rid of it anyway.
Rid of the freaking ball.
So, like, I don't like the fact that Mahomes has 3.5 seconds to sit back there and diddle. I don't.
It lets him fiddle his diddle too long, and then once he do, he throws a pick.
But either way, I think that the 1 second that they've added on pass protection is not worth how bad these guys are at run blocking compared to last year. I think that's a big problem, and it's an overlooked problem. Our running game stinks. And I think that's why Andy goes and gets away from it so much, because Pacheco's one of those running backs that you have to keep giving him the ball. Let him wear that defense down. He's going to break one, right? That's what Pacheco. That's how he runs. But we never go to him because it's just literally failed run play after failed run play, and I think they just eventually they never go back. You saw it again today.
Right. Chiefs Kelsey said the Chiefs are still number 1 seed in the AFC right now. Boy, you can play a big game of biggest pretender, and I think that you'd have a pretty good.
Here I was calling the Dolphins a little bit of pretenders last night, and then I saw today's game, and I'm like, Jesus.
Right, like today's game gives me zero confidence. And again, I don't care if Patrick Mahomes was hyped up on NyQuil or not. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're, I don't know, Michael Jordan could go out and win a playoff game with the flu. So
Mike, I'm willing to say that I might have been able to beat this Broncos team with the flu.
No.
You don't think so?
You,
Yeah, man. I think
No.
I could have.
bro, if you would have had the flu, you couldn't even have beat him on Madden rookie.
I don't get out of the bed when I have the flu. I almost die every time I have the
Exactly.
flu. Hey, but either way, like, how can you not just throw quick, easy passes? That's all it was going to take. And it was like, no, let's hold the ball. Let's spin in circles 15 times. Let's make ridiculous throw into triple coverage. I don't know what was going on there,
look,
bro.
Hardman was the trade target. Was Hardman the only trade target? What is he going to be? Did he go from hometown hero return
I don't know.
to horse's ass in 1 week? Or are we going to make another trade? Steve, if they go get another wide receiver, who are you looking for him to get? Because we've went through the options, and let me tell you, they're not that great.
Right. I don't know if a lot of people's talked about this, and I don't know if they'd be willing to deal with the Chiefs. But I did see one guy in our comments, and let me scroll up. I want to get his name. I'll just shout him out because I was already thinking it. Ulfric Stormcloak.
Oh, frick.
Ulfric. But
he's the one that said to let me rage.
Yes. Ulfric also said Davante Adams is dying to get out of Las Vegas. He wants out of there. He even said yesterday the only reason he went there was Derek Carr. Derek Carr's not there. He don't want to be there no more. He wants out. They have. Well, hold on.
Going to trade with the Chiefs?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they would deal with the Chiefs, but do you think that's a target? Like, I mean, if the Chiefs were to give the Raiders something worthwhile, do you think the Raiders just be like, you know what? The Chiefs are beating our ass in the division anyway. So why don't we go ahead and get another first round pick or second round pick or whatever it might be and cut our losses with Davante?
Would you give him? Were you
right now at this point, right now, the way the Chiefs look with receiver, I would give a first round pick for Davante Adams, and I wouldn't think twice about it.
Would they take a second round pick and Sky Moore?
No, I think they would probably have a high asking price because it is from the Chiefs. They might want like a first round and like a third rounder, but at this point, I think the Chiefs have to suck it up and give a little bit more than they would need to because they have let themselves get to this point. They've let themselves get to this point.
But again, is Davante Adams going to be the kind of receiver Mahomes that can work?
If Davante Adams, hold on. If Davante Adams was on this team and Patrick Mahomes would not throw 50-50 balls at him, I would smack Patrick Mahomes upside the head. And if I was Matt Nagy or Andy Reid, I'd be like, look, bro, I know that sometimes you don't like to throw the ball, that you want to spin in circles 15 times, but we know that you have a good arm. We know you're one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. Throw that guy the damn ball, and I bet you he's going to catch it, dude. Just throw it up there a few times. Literally throw it to him. You'll learn to trust him. Just throw him the ball.
Yeah, I feel like it, but I don't know. I don't know if they trade him. I still feel like you need a smaller receiver. I still feel like that's the way
I'm with you. I think so too, but Hollywood Brown's out. They done said they're not trading him.
Right. Well,
so the Chiefs were actually inquiring about him and were told, no, go away. Pretty much. That's what happened there.
We know that for a fact.
I don't know that for a fact, but I've done my research on it and a lot of, and I'm doing this very much like this sources because God knows how those are. But either way, a lot of people have said that I've read about said that the Chiefs inquired about Hollywood Brown and Arizona said, no, they are not trading him. Like that is the story.
So they plan on just go ahead and paying him a big old contract because he's in his
I don't know,
year.
but that's the story right now is they're completely not trading him. There's no way to get him. So if that's the case, Mike, that's leaving very few targets. Denver just beat your ass with Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy both. They're not giving you one of them now. Why would they?
I think, look, if it was on me, this goes against what I say a little bit, but I think the one target I'd have to go try to look at is Michael Pittman from Indianapolis.
That's one to look at too. I bet you they won't give him up.
The guy I would have to look at. And yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if they give him up.
I don't think they will just because I know Richardson's out this year, but they do have a lot of faith in that kid. They think he's it, right? So they're not going to go get rid of his good young receiver. They're not going to do that.
I think we're just in this boat to where if we don't draft another good wide receiver, it's going to be hard to get one.
Well, I think you're in the boat to where you have to give up more than you want for a receiver. I think that you've let yourself get backed into a corner. You've let yourself become desperate looking, and now you need a receiver, and people know they can rip you off a little bit. So if you have, if that's what I was saying earlier with the Raiders, like they don't want to trade with the Chiefs. They don't want to give the Adams to the Chiefs, but they know they can sit there and rip their ass off right now. They can get as much as they want for him because the Chiefs need him. Like need, not want, need. Okay, and that's the same way with any other teams looking to hawk off a receiver right now. What if it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Mike Evans? Good Lord, how nice would it be to have a Mike Evans in our offense right now?
I get it, but look, what's the realistic? How long would it take them to come in, learn this offense, develop a chemistry with Mahomes? How long does it take?
I guarantee you they could start next week in Kansas City and be more effective and better than every receiver on our roster.
Why don't? Listen to this.
And that is the God's honest truth. I think if you took Devontae Adams or Mike Evans or someone of that caliber, or even Michael Pittman, and you put them on our offense right now, and they're still trying to learn it, got to look at the playbook for 2 days, they're still more effective out there on the field than our receivers are right now.
So would you give up a round 1 pick for Mike Evans?
Yes.
He's 30s, what, 1?
I don't want to, but at this point, if you want to win this year, do something.
I mean, let's be honest. Our first round pick's basically second anyway.
I don't even mean that as an overreaction. Like, oh, God, we could never win the Super Bowl if we don't go get one of these guys. I'm not saying that. Still could happen, but your chances suck right now with the receivers you got. So, like, if you really want to keep winning right now in Mahomes' prime, you want to go back-to-back, you want to keep this ball rolling, I think you have to try to make a move here. You have to. If you don't, you're accepting the fact that you're going to roll the dice and pray to God that this works out.
Halloween. We're at the trade deadline.
They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. I know that. They're not going to do it.
We're at the trade deadline, getting ready to go into November. And these are problems that we said the Chiefs had all the way back in the offseason.
And no one listened. Everyone said we were crazy.
And nobody listened. And yet here we are talking about wide receivers again, still. It's frustrating. And to be honest, part of me just wants it to stay the same. We either win or we lose with what we got. I don't care.
Way back when we got Mecole Hardman back last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, I put out a peace offering with Mecole Hardman. I was like, hey, man, look, maybe we can be better friends this time around. You know, like this time you only cost me a 5th round pick and not DK Metcalf. Maybe we can, be better friends this time around and I can like you a little bit more than I did. And then he pulls that crap that he did today, bro. Like literally. Dude. Hey, not only is it just embarrassing and it sucks as a Chiefs fan, but do y'all remember me talking about how I could have won $3,400? And this guy literally just pooped on that. So that's just a double whammy. So I'm back to, you know what, Mecole, suck it. You cost me DK. If we had not drafted him and drafted DK Metcalf, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Who cares? If we let the ball bounce,
it's all Mecole Hardman's fault.
And our offense took over the ball. You really think they'd have scored the way they were playing today?
That was the only chance we had left.
Dude, I wouldn't have put any money on that. So
that was the only chance we had left.
Dude, I'm going to say it was just a bad game all around. I want to see what happens. If the team cannot overcome this and put up a fighting game and beat the Dolphins,
right?
If you go out and get blown out against the Dolphins, this team may be in trouble.
Yeah, it's going to be very deflating for everybody if you go
because it looks like nobody wants to play ball. Nobody's embarrassed by Tyreek. With the Chiefs.
That guy's run his little mouth over and over again constantly, and you're going to go out there and get blown off the field by him? Is that is that the look you want to have? Hey, let's go back to the receivers real quick, Mike, because we're quick to toot our own horns and say, hey man, we were telling people we've got to get a proven wide receiver in here. Have to. And we did. We talked about it a lot. And we were right. But we're not always right because, like I said, Sky Moore's going to break out this year and he's going to be good. I'm willing to right now be like, hey, I was wrong. He stinks. Like, what are we doing here? I think we gave him enough chances. MVS, we said maybe MVS and Mahomes can get on the same page. MVS is not worth $1 that we're paying him at all. He's not producing. We don't use him. Why are we wasting $11 million on him? Give me one good reason we're wasting $11 million a season on this guy.
Hey, unconscious. I didn't say that. I said that was the stupidest thing I ever heard. You take that beef up with Steve. He's the one that said 41-10.
No, hey, I'll fully take that too. From now on, I told Mike today, I was like, you know what? For the rest of the season, I'm not picking the Chiefs to win a game after today's performance. They're really going to have to prove me wrong, man. They're going to have to do something. They're going to have to do something. So you're picking
the Chiefs to lose every game rest of the year?
Right now, unless something miraculously changes, I got the Dolphins winning next week. After watching today, who could say anything different?
Right, I get it.
I mean, literally, we watched this BS on TV today. Y'all seen it with your own eyes. Are you picking the Chiefs to beat the Dolphins next week right now? Please, somebody out
Man.
there tell me that you think that that's going to be a good game.
Steve, you know there's going to be a few people like this. You can't define a team by one loss.
No, I get that too. I understand that too. And like Anetta said, maybe we needed a smack in the face, right?
Who's gonna
Wake them up? But
who's
man,
gonna guard?
come on, bro.
Who's gonna guard Tyreek Hill? Which corner do we have gonna stick with Tyreek Hill? Your best bet's Trent McDuffie, and are you gonna shadow him the whole time?
Yeah, L'Jarius Sneed ain't gonna do nothing with him. Cortland Sutton ate his lunch today.
Dude, Cortland Sutton runs routes like he's in an old folks' home, and he beat him so bad today.
Yeah, I'm with Ulfric. It has to be McDuffie. That's the only chance we got. Man, I don't know. It's very easy to be discouraged and go crazy right now because that was just god awful. I mean, did you guys really honestly think, like, I know we've talked about, like, yeah, you can't keep beating the same team for 20 years straight.
Right.
You know, like something's going to happen. And I get that. But did you honestly think today, like, man, the Chiefs are going to lay an egg and just absolutely get slaughtered by Denver?
I didn't.
I mean, come the
I
hell
they would have
on,
showed up
dude.
and played better.
I figured if they even played a decent game, they'd beat this team. It's like, good Lord.
I'll say after about the first 6 minutes of game time, I wasn't convinced that we were there. I feel like the whole team took a bye week.
It didn't take long to get the vibe that they were going to suck butt today. It did not. But I thought they'd still be able to, you know, what's their theme lately? Win ugly. And you know what? I'm starting to think that win ugly thing is a cover up for we're not, you know, we're just lucking some games out here. And I think that's what's been going on. And I think sometimes you can't do that. Today was one of them days. You know? The Chiefs got to do something to get better on the offensive side of the ball. That's all there is to it. And it sounds crazy because the Chiefs are the high-flying Chiefs offense, the crazy Chiefs offense. They're the best offense in the league for the last 4 years or whatever. Well, this year they're not, ladies and gentlemen. Newsflash.
Look, you know who I blame? I'm just going to say it. I blame Taylor Swift for not being at the game.
Somebody's got to say it.
I blame her.
They want to blame Taylor Swift for everything else. It might as well be her fault for not being there. I blame her.
When she's there, the offense is humming. And now look at us. Can't do nothing without our savior. We need to sign her to the wide receiver position.
Hey, let's be the old grumpy Chiefs fan right now. Hey. We could have won today if Travis Kelce hadn't gone to the World Series. If he wasn't too busy trying to be a celebrity and date Taylor Swift, we'd have won today. If Patrick Mahomes' brother didn't act like that and do TikTok dances, he would have played better today. Jones was very quiet today, just Duchess. But the reason why is because they were literally allowed to hold him every play. Right. It was a joke.
Wait for the game recap tomorrow that I've got working
on. Oh, the short game recap's going to be epic.
Dude, I've already wrote out most of it. I feel like I want to rewrite some of it and add
Jared,
more things, but I don't know.
Jared's in the house. What's up, Jared? It's just one game, guys. Relax. Man, I've heard that before.
Yeah, I'm not doing it, Jared. You want to know why?
Because that was embarrassing. That was
loser mentality.
They really should have benched Patrick Mahomes today. Are you saying they should have, Jared? Because I honestly think we had a better chance of winning today with Mahomes on the bench.
Who was the announcer? The announcer thought it was so bad that they had benched Patrick Mahomes after
he cut his hand. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, they got a new quarterback in. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's Mahomes. You can tell because he done 3 carousel spins and fell down. Like,
yeah,
this was one of those games where the Mahomes clone showed up. Like, he didn't just play the second half. He was there the entire game.
Yeah. It was pretty embarrassing. Chad H loves horse nuts. He wrote that in the chat. That's strange. Chad H.
What?
I don't know why he admitted that to everybody. I don't know what he's trying to do.
About?
I don't know.
Chad H said that they rubbed their balls on our head. Chad H is on to something. They did.
Man, okay, some other targets, Mike. Just real quick. We'll take a few more questions and stuff too, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, by the way. 408 people here. Appreciate you guys. Today sucked. It was awful. We know you didn't have a good time either, unless you're some of the trolls in the chat, and then enjoy it. Live it up. Take your few chances you get a year to rub it in on the Chiefs, okay?
Few chances a year. Few chances a decade.
Yeah, so you go ahead and do that. Chad H is angry. Either way.
Isn't Chad H a Chiefs
Live it up.
fan?
I don't think so. I think he's
he is.
No.
He keeps saying our forehead as in Chiefs.
Oh, no. He's not even trolling. He's just having a bad time.
Yeah, he's just
having a
talking it
breakdown.
down. He's having a breakdown, and you're ridiculing him.
Mike, you need to hang out with Chad. Y'all can bond, man. It'll be cathartic. Y'all can just get together and go crazy.
That's what any normal person would do right now.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, thanks for joining us and stuff. Hit that like button if you haven't yet. It'll help us out. Also, sub if you have not yet. If you would like to help the channel, please, perfect timing. Just drop down on the back of the screen there. Patreon.com/allchiefedup. $10 a month. You get extra exclusive content over there on Patreon and an open chat where we can talk anytime that you want to. And that'll help us out while YouTube's being slap nuts. And also, there's ways to donate through Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. And you can see that in the chat as well from Nightbot doing the Lord's work out there. But real quick, Mike, let's get back to the glaring obvious thing, right? Like, right now, I think the obvious thing is Chiefs have a receiver problem. Yeah, so the Chiefs have a receiver problem. We have literally a day and a half to do something about it if they're going to.
Nobody's playing ball with us.
Right, that's my thing. Nobody's going to want to play ball with us either. The chances of the Chiefs actually making a move and getting it done is very slim. Okay, but there's a chance that they're going to give it a shot because I thought the day was just embarrassing enough to where they have, like, it might force their hand to do something. Just maybe
think they will.
I don't either.
Just say, look, Mahomes was sick.
Mike, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think the chances are very slim. But if they do, let's just take like a minute and talk about some options that we haven't talked about yet. Are there any receivers out there that you could see Brett Veach taking a stab at, trying to get them in here at the last minute to save face, that does not have the name of DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, Michael Pittman, or Hollywood Brown? I know a lot of people said Adam Thielen. Are there some other guys on? My thing is there's some other guys around the league we've talked about, like even with Carolina, Terrace Marshall, things like that. I don't think we need another mid receiver. I think they're going to have to go get a big name like a Michael Thomas or somebody we know can get the job done, right? Or, I know it's not going to happen. Everybody, y'all can tell me it's not going to happen. I've already addressed the fact, hey, probably not going to happen. I'll say it for the 80th time in case you didn't hear me. But if they did take a stab, Mike, is there anybody out there that we've not talked about yet?
No. Pittman is the number one guy for me. You could maybe look to Cleveland, maybe inquire about Donovan Peoples-Jones. We've talked about that before.
I don't think he's good enough, though. I think he's mid.
Yeah, he's 6'2", 200, and I honestly think he's the same as
to me at this point,
MVS.
If you're going to make a move, it better damn well be a big move. Like, you better go get an actual good wide receiver, number one, proven to be that guy. Like, I don't want another mid receiver.
Right. What about that's going to roll out players like Laviska Shenault and things like
that? Yeah,
like,
roll them out.
I don't know if they can do it.
Out. I don't want that.
There's one name we haven't mentioned that I think could come over and be a good target. Will he be immediately a great target? I don't know.
No, probably don't want him. I think
Chicago, Darnell Mooney. That could be a name I could look at.
If it's not DJ Moore, I ain't playing ball.
I don't know if Moody's it.
I feel like
DJ Moore.
Well, that's my point. That's the point I'm making here. I feel like we're at a point right now where it's like, hey, if you're gonna make a move, you better make a move.
Look, Jack. Jack says Hunter Renfrow. Love Hunter Renfrow. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
because he's that little slot guy that can get open quick.
But at the same time, I still think at this point, no more mid. Like, do it. Do the damn thing if you're going to do it. Let's quit putting guys that are mediocre on the roster.
Ask a question for you. Would you guys trade Chris Jones in a first for Devontae
Hell
Adams?
No. That's crazy.
That's give it a little too much.
They better give us a first rounder with Devontae Adams for Chris Jones. That's wild, bro. But hell, I mean, if they're going to be allowed to hold him every play like they were today, I mean.
Yeah, Chris Jones got held a lot, man.
It's every game. It's just glaringly obvious.
I honestly think that's why Carl Lawson was so effective. There was one play I watched where those two stunned at each other. 3 guys, the guard, the tackle, and the back, all grabbed Chris Jones and just held him, and George Karlaftis just was right into the quarterback. And they didn't even look at him. Like,
yeah, it was a joke, dude.
They thought it was a ghost.
Ulfric, he says Terrell Owens can still play, I think. The sad thing is Terrell Owens is pushing 50, and I bet he's better than every wide receiver on our roster.
I think we signed Jerry Rice. Let's bring him out of retirement.
Man, there's really no one else that there's got to be another team just willing to give somebody up.
Can
right
we
now.
bring back Debo? Chief fans like to bring back old Chief players.
Dwayne Bowe might be more effective than anybody we have in our wide receiver room right now.
That's possible.
Good grief, bro. No, but my thing is, I just think, Mike, which is a big, gigantic if, they were to make a move, to me, go all out or go home. Like, I'm tired of the mid. Don't get me more mid bull crap. I don't want to see a mid receiver that's never been a number one wide receiver on a team and never proven themselves. I don't want any more of that.
Right. So that
I am sick to my stomach of that crap this season.
So that does kind of cut out maybe Darnell Mooney. That probably cuts out like the Rashad Batemans of the world.
I don't want another Kadarius Toney trade. I don't want another Mecole Hardman trade. I want an actual freaking move to address a problem we've had for a year and a half now, for the love of God. That's all I'm asking. And if you're not going to do that, then just don't do it. Don't do anything.
So we know you would take Devontae Adams over anybody. I mean, who wouldn't?
Duchess,
would you rather have DeAndre
Amari
Hopkins
Cooper,
or would you rather
Amari
have
Cooper? That's a name. I would go with that one.
Would you rather have Amari Cooper over D-Hop?
That's a tough one. I think.
Or Mike Evans out of those three.
Ooh, Mike Evans out of the three. I think Mike Evans out of the three, and then I think I would take Hopkins. If we're just talking for immediate like relief, like this year, next year, I take Hopkins probably over Amari. But I don't know though. I think Amari Cooper.
I think Devontae would be your first option. They're just not going to play ball with you.
Right.
I would definitely take D-Hop, but I don't see them trading D-Hop.
Not now.
Mike Evans is fine. I'm down with Mike Evans. I just don't know if they'll do it. Chris Godwin's another, that's another option from the same team. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, that's two for the Bengals. They're not going to trade. They're not going to play ball. So, I mean, who does that really leave? Like Corey frickin' Davis? Did he retire or something?
We're not. Yeah, we don't want that.
Like, we don't need people like that. So, I mean,
I don't want no more mid. That's my motto right now. We can't handle no more mid, guys.
What about Cooper Kupp?
Yeah, Cooper Kupp's a good one. Yeah, you guys have actually thrown some decent names out there. A lot of people are saying Puka. They're not giving Puka up. Yeah, that was a miss by the Chiefs not drafting him, right? Yeah. Especially when Mike, just Mike, don't know anything about nothing. Just this random guy out here in Kentucky who was like, "Hey, we really need to draft Puka Nacua." Just whatever. But you know what?
I don't know.
They couldn't figure it out. Let's see. Kupp would be a good one. Honestly,
good.
I don't think they would. They might.
I see you throw down Antonio Brown. And you know what? Even with him and off his CTE, he's probably better than what we got.
Yeah, I would say so. I wouldn't take him because I don't want to deal with him, but he's probably better, to be quite honest. I think Kupp is a good target. I know Matt Stafford's had some injuries. Puka Nacua is proving to be the same as Cooper Kupp to them in that offense. So, yeah, I think Cooper Kupp would be excellent. Cooper Kupp in our offense could be dangerous. Just the same way he is in LA.
Has he already reached the point of like over exertion in the NFL? Like,
no,
he's small.
He is injury prone.
He's got a lot of injuries.
He is injury prone. That's a risk.
So would you trade a first round pick for Cooper Kupp? Would they take a first round pick for Cooper Kupp?
Yes, they would. Do we do that? I don't know. It's tough because he does come with an injury problem.
I got the best idea of all. Give up 2 first round picks. First round this year, first round in 2025. Let's bring in Justin Jefferson. Call it a day. Glad.
Hey, Kirk Cousins just went out with Achilles. They might as well fire sale and be done with it.
You might as well. Let's just go ahead. Let's give us Justin Jefferson. We'll wait a few weeks for the hamstring. We'll be fine.
Man, well, we all know damn well nothing's going to happen. We're stuck with what we're stuck with. So now in the real world, Mike, so we've talked about all these trade options and what the Chiefs could do if they really cared. But we're going to stick with what we got. Like, what do we have to do to move this thing forward? Like, where does it need to start? Like, does it have to be like, hey, MVS, you stink. You're not it. Please go sit on the sidelines. Let's try somebody else here.
If we don't go get another wide receiver, I would like to see them trade MVS, at least try to get rid of some of the $11 million. Like, we're not using
might as well. Yeah, I mean, he's not helping you. Yeah, he's not helping you at all.
A lot of people saying
ISM. If that's not the most mid receiver I've ever seen in my life, I don't know what it is. He's not. He couldn't even make our 53. He couldn't make the roster with these garbage receivers. I mean, come on.
He was number 8.
Yeah.
With these guys, come on.
No more mid, baby. No more mid. I'm over it.
When we went to camp, I went over to the field. I ran a route. I could have probably made the team over ISM. I think I was better than 8th. Come on.
Something's got to get done, though, right? So, like in the real world where we keep everybody, we're going to keep them all. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to trade anybody. We're not going to trade for anybody. What do we do to make this better? Like, what's the answer? Because right now they're doing the same thing over and over again, and it's not working.
Our answer, 1,000%.
What is it got to be?
Is to hope our defense continues to stay healthy. Hope these linebackers get back to full strength. Rely on our defense. We need to start relying on the run game a lot more than we ever thought we ever did, even though Andy will not do it. And then we need to let the run game open up the pass game. I don't think that we're good enough right now to let the pass open the run. I think it's got to be opposite, and I think that's the way you're going to turn it around. And Mahomes has to subconsciously get the ball out faster than 2 seconds. All this running around and extending plays doesn't do no good for you. You've got to get it out. You've got to get the ball out of your hand, and I think that switches it. I think you've got to adjust your play calling for it.
I do. I agree. Somewhat, but I still think even if we have established a run game, I still think our receivers stink. I don't know if that really helps all that much, but it does free them up a little bit, right? I think the one main thing is, I mean, yes, I'm not trying to help these receivers out by any means right now. I'm not trying to give them any more credit than they should get, but you do have other issues, right? So let's tidy those up first. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do with the ridiculous receiving core that we have been stuck with this season.
Look, it was a tough game today. Not going to sugarcoat it. That was tough to watch.
It is a tough game, but it's also an eye opener. Like, hey, we can get dog walked by the Denver Broncos, one of the worst teams in football, because we refuse to address a receiver issue. Our offense stinks so bad. With Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid calling the plays, our offense stinks so bad because our receivers suck that bad that our defense had to play the entire game. They were on the field the whole freaking game because our offense sucks.
It still didn't give up a lot.
Yeah, no. I mean,
like
way more than they should have. But, I mean, if they weren't on the field constantly gassed, I think for the most part they would have gave up maybe the 14 points. Maybe. And that's being generous to Denver.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. I don't know. A lot to talk about. It's gonna be one of them weeks, man. I think everybody's gonna go hide and not want to even talk about football this week. They're just gonna go hide.
This may be the week people don't come at us and be like, "Hey guys, where's all the content?" Everybody might just be like, "Dude, I ain't watching anything this week. This is horrible."
Yeah. Hey, Doug. Yeah, we talked about this for a second earlier. A little worrisome there. We missed Nick Bolton today. That was very apparent. Even with Drew Tranquil being as good as he is, he's not Nick Bolton, and we miss Nick Bolton. Plain and simple, you saw that having trouble stopping the run today. So yeah, and then of course he had a bit of he got shook up. He ended up back in the game. Willie Gay went out with a lower back injury, I believe they said what it was, which suck, by the way.
They say tailbone.
Could have been that too. I don't know. Either way,
broke his tail.
Yeah, a little worrisome. I'm not going to freak out about it yet, but that's definitely something to monitor and keep an eye on because we know Nick Bolton's gone. Heck, we can't even get monetized on YouTube again until Nick Bolton gets back to playing football.
Dude, he's back before we're getting monetized.
Yeah, no, and that's sad.
Nick Bolton will be in the Hall of Fame before they decide they're gonna correct this problem.
Hey, YouTube's gonna say reinstate these nuts.
Yeah, they probably will, man. Show You says, "How do you think our defensive line did today?" They were good. They were bad with the run. I thought with the run they give up a lot. But look, there was a lot of missed tackles by our linebackers. There was a lot of missed tackles by our safeties. Justin Reed missed a few bad tackles.
Well, I think it's a snowball effect, bro.
Right.
Like, yeah, I do understand they were pretty bad with the run today. It was like they were being able to chunk off 4, 5, 6 yards at any given moment, right? And it was extending these drives, and they'd have the ball for 7 minutes. But then our offense would go in there and just compound it. Like, oh, we're going to go 3 and out because we suck. We look like a peewee football team. So you're going to have to get your ass back out here on the field after you've been out there for 7 minutes and do it again.
Right.
Just keep doing it over and over again. We're not going to help you any. Go out there and be gassed and suck for air in this altitude and hope to God that you can stop somebody. That's basically what happened all day.
Yep. Fall Forward says, "We're going to laugh when the Chiefs come out next week and smoke the Dolphins." Dude,
They
it
could.
very well could happen.
They could.
It really could. Who knows? We were talking about that today. Isn't it funny that a team like who was it today that couldn't even beat somebody that was really well besides the Chiefs? But remember we were talking about it, and it was the same team that just beat somebody. They crushed them last. Oh, it was the Ravens. They come out and just smack the Detroit Lions, and then struggle with the Arizona freaking mid Cardinals.
Yeah, ended up winning by 7 or something like that, man.
Like, it's so weird. It's almost like they keep us guessing because they don't want us to win money in Vegas. There's something about it.
Is that what it is?
Doug says, Mike, watch your 40 time. We need a wide receiver. Man, I was a lightning bolt back in high school, baby. I played tackle and guard, and I ran a 5.05. How you like that? No, I think I lied. That's a 5.15, I think.
Yeah, who knows?
Dude, I was slow. That was slow. That was pretty slow. Actually, for a lineman, probably not too bad, but I was a little lineman.
Was it really a 5?
Yeah, I was in the 5s. Wait, you think it was worse?
No, I was thinking, I don't know. I feel like you could run a 5 flat at least.
I think it was a 5.15. I didn't have good technique. You know, we're linemen. You just didn't run it a lot. And then other than that, I was actually too little to play line, to be honest. At 265, that's not a very big offensive lineman in high school, by the way.
Right. Well, that's why you got moved into guard, right?
Yeah, that 265 is still pretty small for a guard, I think.
Nah, not too bad for high school. Yeah, man. So I guess that's going to pretty much wrap it up for the night. We're going to go cry ourselves to sleep because the Chiefs decided to stink. Hopefully maybe we'll see something positive come out of this terrible game we all had to endure today. The one thing that worries me a little bit, Mike, about how bad the Chiefs played today is the fact that you have other teams in the division that are figuring it out. We watched the Bengals, of all teams, come out and start 0-2. 0-3. I don't remember what it was. Either way, they beat the 49ers pretty good today. Like right. They look like they're getting better and hitting their stride and figuring things out.
The 49ers and the Brock Purdy thing, it just might not be what they've all
100%. I've always been there. But it does suck that you see some other AFC teams kind of getting it together and you're starting to see them start clicking and figuring things out. And the Chiefs are still stuck here in the mud, bro. On the offensive side of the ball, anyway.
I don't know. Maybe we get it together. I'm just going to say maybe Mahomes just was off today. Maybe he was in like that funk, you know. He's got that head. He's got that head cold. He's got that flu.
He had the funk.
He had the funk, baby.
Mecole Hardman had the funk. Couldn't catch the ball.
Yeah, he's an eternal funk.
Man, that was rough. I've never been so mad at a person in one single second in my entire life. Like, why would you ever try to field that? Like, what went through his head?
Like you should just let it go.
Well, and then he went full D-Rob next time he got a pass thrown to him and started running backwards. Or was that it was a pass, right?
I don't remember. Is that where he took the slide? He lost his footing?
No,
I thought
it wasn't that
one
one.
He took a dive, dude. I was like,
I did too. At first, I thought he pulled the quarterback slide. I was like, what the hell are you doing? He slipped. He slipped. No, it wasn't that play. It was another one. He caught the ball and immediately ran backwards. You're like, oh, he's just trying to make something happen. And I was like, yeah, like he did on that punt return.
Yeah.
Rough times, man.
I feel like they get that thing where they all just start pressing a little bit, you know? Everybody presses.
Man.
Mahomes will do it. Everybody does it. Whatever.
It just wasn't happening. Wasn't happening today, right?
Wasn't our game, man. It wasn't our game. I've got the rage out. That's why we get on here. That's why we talk.
Yeah.
Get the rage out. And, you know, whatever. We're going to go to bed. We're going to get up. We're going to continue to do what we do, and then it's going to be fine. How do I think Leo Chanel played?
Played great, actually.
Played good. He had a pretty good
Leo
game.
Looked pretty good. He made a lot of good plays. Defense, for the most part, I thought the defense performed well. Now, L'Jarius Sneed, we talked about him getting absolutely demolished by Cortland Sutton. Other than that, there was one long pass to Jerry Jeudy that was absolutely just Jerry Jeudy beasting a ball, like making a good catch.
Right.
Other than that, it was just, I don't know, man. I feel like the defense didn't play bad. They just had trouble stopping the run after a while of being on the field, and I don't know. Right. Defensive line played good against the pass. 6 sacks today, actually, Mike. 6 sacks is what they come back with.
Yeah, they might have got another one.
Who all had sacks? I know Mike Dana, I think, had 1. And then you had George, who had at least 2.
Karlaftis had 2.5.
2.5.
They half sacked him with somebody, but I can't remember.
Leo got 1. Omenahue got 1.
Minihue would have had one. They took it
Let me go
away,
look.
didn't they?
I'm about to go look real quick.
Minihue got one taken away on that Snead penalty.
Yeah, good God, man. See, just dumb things like that all day. That was annoying.
Snead's got to literally.
Literally, he got sacked in like 0.5 seconds.
Look,
there was no
know
time for you to even be holding anybody. What are you doing, bro?
You want to know how you get Snead to stop holding people? Take his hands and tape them into fist in practice and make him practice all week with fist. You're not going to be able to catch the ball, but who cares? Deflect it. Knock it down. Who cares? It's going to teach you to stop grabbing people.
Okay, here we go.
I'm sorry that a grown man has to be taught that, but you got to be taught that.
Yeah, he was a little handsy today.
What do I think about MVS today, Tristan? MVS had a chance to come out and have 2 good games, and I thought he dropped the ball today. Like
literally. He fumbled.
Yeah, I'm done with MVS. I'm tired of it. Trade that guy.
There is no receiver on this team right now. I'll give Rashee Rice a tad bit of a pass right now because he's good. I do think he's good, but
Rashee Rice is number 1 by far.
But he has a drop problem that he needs to figure out. And I think today it was the fact that he knew he could run for a mile after he caught the ball. He got a little too horned up. I think that's what it was.
He was horned up.
Anyway, sacks, Mike. Drew Tranquil got 1. Leo got 1. 2.5 for George. Furious George, baby. What a game. What a game. Have yourself a day, George Karlaftis. Nobody else did. Half sack for O'Menihue. 1 sack for Mike Dana. I believe that's it. So the usual suspects. Nothing
Mike
crazy.
Dana, by the way, on the season, he's now at 5.5 sacks, Steve.
Beautiful.
I said he's getting to double digits.
You did.
Everybody said I was crazy. He's at 5.5, and we ain't even at the halfway point in the season. Mike Dana, have yourself a season, baby.
Yeah, I mean, the defense, that's the thing, man. I think ultimately we talk about the receiver thing and it's very frustrating and everything. But what it boils down to is why our offense does not look good this year by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. Even the games when they were good does not offset how bad they've been all season as a whole.
Right.
And our defense is so damn good this year. Like, we finally got a good defense. They're out there balling and playing great, and we got good players, and like even the young guys are stepping up and doing their thing. George is actually getting to the quarterback now. Like he got that half step I kept saying he needed. Yeah, and it's like everything's like lining up for you to have such a killer team this year. Just be awesome, and our offense is just stanking it up. And it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. I don't want to see this defense get wasted in a Patrick Mahomes offense. That's insane.
Right. At this point, I've seen it a few times, that this was a trap game. You make millions and millions of dollars. You know what's coming. You're the NFL. You know everybody takes their best shot at you. Should there ever be such a thing as a trap game ever?
No, absolutely not.
They've
got to get it together.
That's another excuse. That's one of those, excuse things.
I mean, every one of us have days where we don't want to be at work, but we still have to do our jobs, right? Or we're held accountable. Same goes for these guys. They get paid a lot more than we do.
Way more.
So, I mean,
whatever. Look, tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow's a new day. We're going to wake up. It's going to be fine. It's over with. But look, it's good to get together. It's good to talk a little bit. It's good to get our feelings out. Just talk about our feelings. I had to get it out. You don't want to wake up tomorrow and start going Justin Ross and breaking everybody's stuff.
Look, we got
get it out tonight.
Look, we got one of these guys. It's like, oh, the Chiefs finally lost the game. Let me get my moment of glory.
Mahomes, he was so sick he couldn't even see, but we'll go ahead and laugh at him.
Hey,
good job.
I called this upset. Hey, if you say the Chiefs are going to lose every week when they actually do, you can't say you called the upset, brother. It's not how that works. And you have a Seattle Supersonics logo, which is strange.
By the way, I used to like the Seattle Supersonics. You know what? They were the biggest choke artist there ever was.
Yeah. I have a feeling his football team hasn't won any rings either, so. Never.
Who cares?
Hey, shout out to you guys for being here with us. A lot of the usual suspects. Thanks for being here and hanging out all the time. We do appreciate you guys. Much love there. Make sure to tell your friends, man. Hey, get them over here. Get them on the live streams. Get them watching our videos. We're going to try to put out as much content as we can right now. We talked about this last night, but we're kind of having to work more now that YouTube has decided to be slap nuts. So it's making our schedules kind of difficult for us to do as much as we were doing. But even though we're still trying to do that, some of it's going over to Patreon now because I mean, there's only so much time and two of us, so we're doing what we can. We appreciate you guys supporting. Just support us as much as you can. Tell your friends, family, whatever. We're still going to try to grow this channel over this season anyway, even though, YouTube tried to slap nut us right in the middle of the season, Mike. And we're not going to let that happen.
We're not. By the way, if you're listening to this on podcast, because we're on podcast too, Spotify, we're on Apple Podcast, we're on everything under the sun. Just want to say hey to you guys too. And we don't neglect you. We're here with you right now. Come on over to YouTube if you want to see our beautiful faces. Find us over there. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. We're at 15.5, going on 15.6 right now. So if you're in here and you haven't even subscribed, do that. Good Chiefs content all the time. We appreciate you guys, Steve. Is there anything you'd like to say to him before we get out of here?
I don't know. It's just a rough one today. It's a rough one. I would try to say something to make you feel better, but it's not going to work. It's just going to be one of those weeks. Like, we're all going to be a little bit sick to our stomach until the Chiefs get out there and win a game. That's all there is to it.
It could be a while.
Let's hope not, because we got the Dolphins this week. We got the Eagles the week out.
And you got a bye week in between.
Right. So it could, think about this for a second, guys. If the Chiefs don't do something and get themselves together, we could go a month without having a win.
Dude, I'll lose
That's
my
very
mind.
Realistic.
That's
a very realistic possibility.
You guys will have to come help me. I won't be able to get out of the bed. I won't be able to look straight. I'll be so angered. I don't know, man.
Mike, real quick. Do you hope that they make a move? Like, I know you said they won't, but do you hope do you hope they do?
No.
Like, please, for the love of God, do something.
No. For all the fans that told me I was crazy, I want you to have to sit in it, suffer with it. This is your bed.
For all of you who said we didn't need it. Yeah, for all of you who said we didn't need D-Hop and we didn't need nobody else.
Lay in it. Lay in it with all these mid receivers.
This week, we want you to lay around and think about those statements.
Lay around and think about how wrong you were.
Think about that. Wallow in it. Cry yourself to sleep tonight. Think about how you shouldn't have said all those bad things.
Think about it.
That's great. Hey, you guys have a good one. Thanks for hanging out with us. Try to cheer up. Try your best to have a good Monday, even though the Chiefs kind of ruined it for everybody. And it's Halloween coming up, baby. We won't get to talk to you until after that, so happy Halloween. Go have yourself some fun. Dress up as the Denver Broncos and walk around smacking the living shit out of Chiefs fans. I don't know. Have some fun. Hey, we'll see you guys. Have a good one.
There goes a sight from my soul.